All of the views and opinions expressed here are those of the individual speaking and may not be representative of Konig American. At times, language may be considered vulgar. Listener discretion is suggested.
You are now listening to the Konig Behind the Wheel podcast.
Welcome to another episode. Whoa, wait, hold on.
I was using the studio.
Take two. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Wheel Wednesday. I'm Scott from Konig.
I'm Diggity from Konig.
Doubt. His name is Doubt.
Yeah, Diggity Doubt. It works. It's easier for you guys.
Welcome back. Hope everybody's week is going well. And I don't know. We're here for another episode. Today is a special one because not only last week did we learn how to live stream, but this week we're actually going to bring on a guest. With us is going to be Mike Sabunji from Driving Line TV. That's C Studios. And for those of you who don't know, he is one of the driving forces behind Driving Line TV. And additionally, they are the media agency of record for Nitto Tire. So today we're going to be talking about so this is what we're going to do structure-wise. For the first half an hour or so, we're going to talk to Mike. We're going to talk about sponsorships, but we're going to talk about sponsorships and what effect COVID had on sponsorships, right? And then we're going to go into our Q&A session. So if you have any questions or comments that you want to make, again, right in about 20 minutes or so, 25 minutes or so, we're going to be going to the Q&A session, and when we get there, we'll be able to answer all your questions. So do me a favor, start putting all your questions in, whether you're on Facebook or Instagram or YouTube. Make sure you get all your questions in, and what we will do is Luis will be taking all those questions, putting them into one place, and we will be going through all those questions just as soon as we get done. So without further ado, first off, before we do that, house cleaning. Make sure you like, subscribe, all the good stuff as long as you're here. Additionally, last Friday we put up a piece of content. Make sure you go watch it. I think it was pretty humorous. Does anybody know what it was about? It was something. Anyhow, it's on our YouTube channel. Make sure you check it out. This Friday we also have another piece of content coming from you. So make sure you stay tuned to that. I guess without further ado, I'm going to bring in Mike Sabunji,
Mike.
all leader of Thou Shall Be Marketing.
What's going on, Mike?
Hey guys, how's it going?
You didn't expect too much professionalism, did you?
Not here.
I don't know if I can. No, definitely not here. No way.
So one of the things that I wanted to bring Mike in for is, we chronically are in that point where we're talking about sponsorships. We get a lot of sponsorship proposals. We get a lot of sponsorship questions. And there are undoubtedly in the feed that we'll have here of questions will be 7 or 8 people that will say, sponsor me or ask sponsorship questions. And the one thing that we really haven't touched on is the effect that COVID-19 has had on sponsorships. And I don't necessarily mean in the sense of, how sponsorships are handled or getting sponsorship, but, have budgets pulled back? Are companies not really entertaining sponsorships because there's no events, different things like that? So it would be interesting to kind of hear your side of that being on the Nitto Tire side.
Well, the question is, are sponsorships still a thing? Yeah, they're still a thing. Can people still get sponsorships? Yeah, people still can get sponsorships, of course. Whether or not they go through me to get the Nitto sponsorship is arbitrary, but there's still a lot of value that you can bring to the table no matter what happens. A COVID racing program that you got, as long as you can demonstrate that value, and I don't want to really get to the meat and potatoes of this podcast and really end it on the thing we're laddering up to. But as long as you can demonstrate that value to that company in any way, shape, or form that is in line with that company, then of course there can be a sponsorship conversation on the table. Details of which are not my decision, but there's still sponsorships to be had.
Have you seen a pullback in Nitto maybe sponsoring? Maybe it's because they've decided they're not going to push a lot of budget through the sponsorships, or maybe they've pulled back just out of, I don't want to say functionality, but the fact that there's so many events right now that were put on pause or didn't happen for a while. We know that motorsports like FD, they rough through a full schedule, if you want to say that's accurate. You know what I mean? Like, sort of. So how does Nitto kind of looked at it from their average sponsorship type budget?
Right. So since I think we have to go back to the intro that you gave me, I'm not necessarily the guy or the gal or the person at Nitto that is the final decision of sponsorships, because sponsorships can be interpreted in a million different ways. However, my role as the agency or director of social growth or director of growth for their agency of record is to make sure that we present people to Nitto that can bring them some sort of value digitally, especially in 2020, 2021, 2022, that are in line with their goals, right?
Yeah.
So as long as, we're approaching it from there, then yeah, for sure, we can get a little bit deeper in
sure,
how we can make sure these viewers approach this correctly. It's safe to assume for everyone on this call, I'm just going to speak for you guys a little bit. Digital is the future, right? So like, obviously with events being shut down, car shows are illegal actually in some states, gathering more than 12 or whatever. People still do it. Let's just assume that digital is the way to go moving forward. So then with that said, yeah, there's tons of ways to get a sponsorship if you present digital value to a company. And there's still all the eyes on the Nitto side are still open to that type of approach. If you send us a DM or an email and say, hey, I go to a lot of car shows or I go to a lot of car meets, I'm going to tell you this right now, and you leave it at that, that email gets deleted faster than you can blink. You got to give us more.
Yeah. Yeah, we get that all the time, though. I mean, there's so many proposals that come in, and there's just lacking substance and meat and potatoes and the whole nine. So, but let's circle back, because I can give the Konig perspective all day long, and I will. I think we'll touch upon kind of for us how sponsorships have been affected, but you're right. We're in different places. We all know that, like, Harry and internally in Nitto, most of those people are the ones that do the granular sponsorships. But I guess even from your perspective, when we start talking about sponsorships, you're on the search for almost a talent perspective, right?
Yeah, a talent or content, really. I mean, we're not necessarily searching for, let's say, the next big host of an on-the-trail video series, which we have going for Nitto, but we're looking for content and the value it brings.
Right.
Which there's tons of interpretations of that. Are you going to do your own vlog? Are you going to make a vlog that lives on Nitto or Driving Line? Are you going to shoot your review? Are you going to give us a build breakdown? Do you run a podcast? These are the things we're looking for, because the content is king. It's always been king, hence why we're doing a hodgepodge of a Zoom broadcast right now. But yeah, we're always looking for some sort of content. And then what is that content going to do for Nitto? And I guess really it all goes back to, I'm not looking for hosts, I'm not looking for talents. And the reason why we're looking for content is because content influences purchase decisions. Content influences actions. And I know this sounds like a little like college professor type thing, but I mean, I guess there's studies that they go for this. Even if you're a micro influencer or nobody, or you're a guy with only like 5,000 followers on Instagram, as soon as you post up the ice cream sandwich you got, and everyone's gonna write, "Oh my God, where did you get that ice cream sandwich?" And you're now influencing purchase decisions, even though it's $2, you're still doing it. And if you're a brand in 2020 and 2021, and you don't see that, you're left 20 yards down the road. But now Driving Line and Nitto, luckily Nitto has created Driving Line for us to kind of find that and really bring that into the Nitto universe.
So I think what's important, so Mike, I'm going to run through your background for a second, because I think we actually can step away from the Nitto particular situation and talk as to marketing people that are in automotive.
Yeah.
Mike's background is he came, from a few different entities, but some of the ones that you'll know the best would be Super Street. He was, kind of a, I want to say contributing editor. I mean, what's the fair title that you had there?
Manager of social media. So think about that. I mean, that's like 4 or 5 years of growing their Instagram page from like 30,000 to over 2 million. Same with import tuners. Same with lowrider. Same with Motor Trend. Same with Honda tuning. All around under the same building.
Right. So then you did that, and then after that, you were at Hoonigan.
Correct. For a 6-month stint, really wasn't the right fit for me. But the reason why I made the jump is because it's the same, right? Content. And I jumped over to Hoonigan when they first launched, and you can look at their episode counts. What was it? Build breakdowns, and then their daily vlog series. So, the episode 1, I was there. And then now they have like episode 356 or whatever it is. You can imagine, if Hoonigan is making daily vlogs and daily videos, and they built their business on that. It was a great example of why content is so powerful.
Yeah. No, I agree. So let's talk about sponsorship from a perspective of, automotive, all these automotive companies, and you're witnessing the same way I am some of the kind of the industry's ups and downs through the whole COVID weird part of the year, right? So like for us, it's not that we made any specific notation that we were going to pull back budget of sponsorships or anything like that, but there is a byproduct, which is that when you don't have people doing their normal activity, there seems to be two things. The first thing is that activity starts to slow, even if, you made a good point before, which is that you can get sponsorship just by bringing value, and it doesn't matter how you do it. Like, if people are able to obtain attention, they're going to bring value. So people, even if they're not going to car shows or whatever it may be, it doesn't mean that they couldn't create a situation to develop content and develop value for a brand. But it's interesting how it tends to happen anyway, right? It's just the nature of what this year has brought. So I don't know that our sponsorships intentionally were pulled back, but I think the amount of things that we were looking for or that people were bringing to the table to add value just slowed, and the frequency kind of went down,
Yeah, I think that's a good point. Of course, I'm not so entrenched in the Konig sponsorship world.
Of course.
However, I think the point you brought up is consumer behavior changed when COVID hit, right?
Mm-hmm.
Consumer consumption changed when COVID hit. So think of the person who's used to going X amount of drift events a year, and their campaign is built on that, and then all of a sudden the drift events get canceled or get pushed to 8 months down the year. You can't put that in a proposal. Right. And that's just one example, right?
Yeah.
I'd say a lot of the automotive industry mirrored exactly what you guys saw.
Sure.
Until the dust settled and we all realized what the pivot looks like. Some brands did it a little further than other. Some content creators didn't even have to pivot. Like, let's say B is for Bill. I mean, he's still going to make YouTube videos, COVID or not, right? So,
right.
I think really it all boiled down to what did the consumer do during COVID, and then how did that reflect the businesses? There was a lot of things around that, but really, if you just boil it down, I think there was a little bit of a delay of sponsorships because people couldn't figure out, what value can I bring to the table when I can't go do what I'm used to doing?
Mm-hmm. Do you think that there was something that COVID did? Do you think COVID's impact on the value that companies are going to continue to look for going forward is going to change? Or do you think that as this really starts to clear itself up, that everything kind of goes back to normal? Do you think there was a shift in kind of what companies valued and put importance on?
Great question. Yes. If you're smart, it better have shifted the way you value media and your sponsor drivers. If you're not smart and it didn't change it, sorry, in 5 years you're going to go out of business. 2
Yeah.
years you're going to go out of business. That simple.
Yeah.
What COVID did was it increased digital patterns of consumers, customers, whatever, by 10 years. Think about how many more people are ordering food and getting it delivered to their house. Shit, I just delivered lunch to myself. Right? Like I didn't go to the restaurant and do it. That's the analog way. I went on an app and did it. That's digital. Think of how many people are playing video games, how many people are buying things on Amazon. Like that advanced the digital consumer era by tenfold. And now there's, businesses that seemed crazy, mobile tire repair, mobile mechanics. We helped launch a couple of those at sea and when we launched them, people thought we were insane. What the hell are you doing that for? But now everything's mobile, right? So if you're a business and you don't see that COVID changed the pattern for good and you want to go back to normal, sorry, automotive dinosaur, you're going to go extinct. And that's straight up. And there's a little bit of a high horse moment here, but there was a point where SEMA said they were adamant about still having SEMA. And everyone was like, what the are you doing, SEMA? You cannot have it SEMA. And yet they still, no, we're going to have a SEMA. It's going to be the same. And everyone thought they were crazy. And then finally they realized, okay, shit, we should do digital 360 SEMA. We can't have SEMA. But that's my point. It's like a lot of brands are like, no, I'm used to spending this line item on a booth and I'm going to Vegas and that's how my marketing goes. And they're just going to fight the trends. Eventually they're going to get just go out into oblivion.
Yeah. I mean, but this is something that you and I, because Mike and I are friends outside of here, then we have random conversations. This is something that we've talked about time and time again, and that's people getting romantic about the way they do business rather than try to pay attention to where the attention graph is shifting, right? So the people that really don't focus, or better yet, focus on what they've continued to do and continue to check boxes rather than try to really look where consumer behavior has moved to. Those are the companies that are going to suffer. But before we get down this road, I want to make sure that we stay granular enough for people with a sponsorship thing and basically say, like, so is this a bad time? If you're Diggity Doubt over here, if you're Doubt, is this a bad time to submit a sponsorship to a company? Is this a bad time to send your channel in for review to possibly be a partner with a Nitto tire? Is this a bad time to push the program that you've put together to a company?
No, I think all the points we've been saying, if someone's got a sponsorship proposal they're sitting on and they just want to hit send after this call, we've literally laid out a beginning of a roadmap, right? So no, it's not a bad time. You just gotta, if a brand needs to listen to where consumers are going, then a person looking for sponsorship also needs to listen to where consumption is going, right? And they need to align with that channel and present that to the company. It's the same back in 1995 when you got the cover of Super Street. And if you're gonna get the cover of Super Street, Konig's gonna be like, hell yeah, here's some wheels, enjoy.
Right.
But now there's no Super Street. It's just it's gone. So you don't put that in your proposal. Like that, I mean, we jumped a big timeline here, but it's a great example. What's the next thing? Where's the next holy grail of media exposure? Is it integration into a channel like Konig? Are you going to be a host? Is your car going to go into build breakdown? Is it? Are you going to have your own video series? Do you have a lot of positive signals in your vlog where people are like, "Hey man, how did you install that thing on your car? I'm a big fan." These are the kind of things that really, if you got a sponsorship and you want to get, I guess, submitted for approval or review, pay attention. Make those the top 3-4 items, literally 4 words in your thing. I can bring this to the table, and then give us why, and then go from there. I'm not going to tell you how to write your thing. I mean, maybe just if you can demonstrate that value as fast as possible and as accurate as possible, you're in a good spot. And I can't speak for other companies' sponsorship budgets because that's not me. I don't even know. I'd say older automotive companies probably are still panicked a little bit and don't know how to do sponsorships. And the more agile ones, are willing to find some new ways of sponsoring athletes, drivers, content creators, etc.
Yeah. So if you're putting in your sponsorship proposal right now that you go to the mall on Wednesdays or you show up on Sundays for cars and coffee, there's a good chance that unless that business is in that local immediate area, that you're not going to see any value that you're bringing to them with that. So keep these things in mind, because these are the things that when you put together a sponsorship proposal for, that you have to be conscious of, especially the fact that we suffered this COVID travesty in the country, and because it's changed behavior, it now means that you have to make sure that you're even more relevant than where some of these companies are looking now. You need to find that attention graph and really embed the things that you're posing to these companies in that attention graph, So I don't know. I think it's an important lesson. And we have somebody that we recently partnered up with. They have a YouTube channel too, Flyride, and Chris does a lot of stuff with lighting and LED programming and stuff. Now, listen, is it our diehard segment? No, but the dude brought a great proposal video. I mean, did an amazing job, and when he did that, he clearly demonstrated that he knew exactly what was going on today. So, that's a huge piece. Would you give anybody, before I let you go, advice on if they're submitting, we've talked about, it's not about the number of users or subscribers or followers or likes that you get. It's the engagement. It's the content. It's the, kind of, does your message align with the brand's messages? But can you give anybody any real, important tips if they're sending in a sponsorship proposal to a company, to an agency or anything like that? Just the major things that they really should earmark.
Sure. Data is your friend. Sponsorships, not everyone deserves one. So let's put it that way. I hate to give you guys a dose of reality. I'm not going to say if you don't have over 500 Instagram followers, that's not what I'm getting at. Data is your friend, right? So if you look at your data of your platforms and you're like, shit, this is really something of value, then have that conversation with yourself before you try to send it out to someone else to give you a set of tires or wheels or whatever it is that you're trying to get.
Right.
And then if that's the case, use that data and present it in a unique advantage or an advantage of where the market's going in your proposal, right? So without me literally saying you need 500,000 followers, because that's not what I'm trying to say, I'll give you a fantastic tip. We have this program for Nitto, and I'm sure the people are going to copy this. Whatever, it's live, it's public, I don't care.
We're taking notes right now, so whatever this is, the Konig program's coming right after, exactly the same as this,
same
a different
exact
name.
way. Just different.
Okay, here we go. Yeah, exactly, same one. It's a micro influencer program. It's called the Pit Crew. We literally let people in the program with 5,000 to 6,000 followers on Instagram, which is pretty easy. If you know what you're doing, you can get 5,000 to 6,000, not 50, 5 or 6. So what we let them in the program because they bring a value to Nitto Tire or whatever it is that we otherwise couldn't demonstrate ourselves. And they talk about Nitto. They're already gung-ho about Nitto. They're already running Nitto on their vehicle. And they're the king or the queen in their little circle engagement pod of all things car related. And we've identified them. And when they say, hey, I'm putting on NTO1s to run on the racetrack today because they last the longest, 4 or 5 other friends will go out and buy NTO1s. So, I know I'm soaking up most of your time here.
No, you're fine.
But look at your metrics. If you think they're of value, I mean, really be self-aware. And you can demonstrate that value. 500 followers on Instagram probably isn't it. Going to a local cars and coffee probably isn't it. But really showing the impact of your network that you have, which a lot of people don't realize they have. Put that in some sort of package, send it over to the company, and if it really is up to snuff, you're good. Sorry, Scott, I didn't give you the like above 5,000, below 4,000.
No, for everybody that's been watching that, for the few people that we have that tune in all the time, they know my spiel, which is that it's not about numbers, it's about engagement, it's about actual value. So listen, and the same as you, because you guys are massive on that scale, but there's plenty of people that have 500,000 subs or whatever it may be on YouTube that we've turned down to work with because their stuff just didn't align with our message, or the type of messaging that they put out themselves just didn't feel organic for us. So we've declined. And that's not a shot to them. We're sure that they have the viewership, but if it doesn't matter just to, put the product in the background or whatever it may be. If it's not something that really holds this intrinsic value, we often will back away anyway.
I get that's exactly it. Provide the value to the company and demonstrate it, and demonstrate the effect of your value. And as long as you're within the core values of that company, hey man, if you're applying for Konig and you have like a chef show and you're going to put wheels in the background of the kitchen, you probably should go and save that proposal for like a knife company. Like, let's just be honest.
Right.
Don't try and get it because it's free and it's just going to sit in the back. Don't come at us. We've had people, oh boy, we've had people say, hey, can we sponsor this person for their YouTube show? They get 500,000 views. Yeah, we're interested. Okay, we're going to put a Nitto sticker on his camera lens cover, but he won't be running Nitto tires. Fuck you is the answer.
That was amazing. Thank you for that. I needed that.
No,
yeah.
Don't ever come at us with something like that again.
No. Yeah, you.
That was good.
Now, I mean, I guess it depends on the chef show, if they're going to be offering us any free craft services.
Sure. If they're providing meals for the podcast.
But anyhow, listen, I appreciate your time. We will let you go back. Mike jumped in on a sudden tap, so I appreciate you. We could talk about this stuff all day long. This is what happens every time we get together, because we could spend so much time talking about so many different things. So hopefully some of this was helpful. And if you have any other follow-up questions, throw them in, and I'll try to pass them off to Mike, and we'll cover them next week.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me, guys.
Thanks
have
for
a great
coming on.
day. Yeah, if you guys need any more popcorn, hey, are you free for the next 20 minutes? Zoom calls, hit me up. I'm here.
Well, that's
Sounds good.
What we live for. All right, Mike, thanks.
Thank you.
Okay. So, we made it through, right? Alex, how we looking? We're looking good? All right, we're looking good. Let's see here. So, let's get back into this Q&A thing. Do you have the Q&A graphic? We're going to do Q&A. It's coming.
Q&A time.
Woo. All right. So, anyhow, we hope that at least that part was, I know sometimes like when we get, first off, understand that we're a little jumbled only because it was a whole mess of first times for us in the sense of trying to be live in the Zoom thing and hear the audio. So this will get better. And next week, we actually have another guest coming on, and there's going to be another cool topic, and we promise we'll get better.
More guest appearances.
So tune in. So let's get to some of these questions. I'm going to open up a little thing here so I can read some of your questions.
Open it up, babe.
Luis is going to put them through, and let's get some of your questions answered.
What do you got for us today,
I vaguely just saw the feed. Oh, there we go. Luis, is this really the right thing? Is that first question real? I don't know. We got that question last week, too.
We did.
What? Is it the same person? Do you know? Okay. Anyhow, tuning into Q&A. Let's see. Thoughts on Vox Wheels. I've said this last week, and I'm not sure why people want to continue to ask us about Vox Wheels. We know them really well. They are good people. So I know that's not what you're looking for. I just don't know. Like, I haven't personally used their product. I only use Konig products. So I don't know. I don't know if I can answer. But anyhow, they're good people. I think that's a good basis for.
Yeah, it's good quality stuff. It's not our thing.
So moving on. Show us all your countergrams.
Well, there's one.
With
The other ones are outside.
Well, I would say when it comes down to the countergrams, we've put out multiple YouTube videos. If you check out our channel, Konig Wheels USA, you will find quite a bit of stuff there. Luis, are we, when we're on Instagram and stuff like that, are we showing right, or is it just like part of my face and
half of mine and like here, there?
I feel like this camera angle may.
You guys always have to get closer, but you're in. We're both in.
We're both in. Like is both
Am I
in?
like half?
What about
or-
over there?
You're like.
Oh, who is?
Am I in?
Yeah, he's.
So I need to go this way.
So everybody's on
Instagram?
me right now. What's going on, guys? How you doing? How's everything?
I mean, you guys are in technically.
All right.
We-
Anyhow,
we could-
let's move on.
Oh,
Chris from Fly Ride.
Fly Ride.
Guess what just showed up in my front yard, peoples? Yeah, the countergrams. And actually, Chris, thank you. I appreciate. I got your package yesterday, so I appreciate that. Do you guys still sponsor Alberto Big? Yeah, listen. I like Alberto. I mean, I've been pretty friendly with Alberto for a few years now. I really. He's a good guy. He's super knowledgeable in cars, which is really important to us. I think Alberto's just kind of doing his thing, but I know that he just rewrapped his Wildberry Boost car. So actually, that's a good segue. I'm gonna check in with Alberto later just to see how he is. I haven't spoken to him in a month or two. Popeye's chicken sandwich or Chick-fil-A sandwich?
That's not even a question.
No, that's
guy.
good. That's a good question.
I'm just saying, but his Chick-fil-A is going to be all the way. I don't understand.
Can I make an admission?
What's that?
I've never had Chick-fil-A.
Really?
Yeah, I've never had Chick-fil-A.
Guys, I'm sorry, but I have to leave. I'm kidding.
I don't eat. I know it doesn't
I know,
appear this
listen.
way, but I don't really eat a lot of fast food. And I've heard everybody says it's a great, and there is one that opened up here. We're in the Northeast. We're in New York.
There's like 3 of them now.
Well, there's one that opened out by me, but every time I've ever even passed it,
It's
the
packed.
line.
It's packed.
And I'm sorry, I don't care
Every single
about
time.
fat.
Yeah. Mobile
Yeah,
order,
so the
pull
tips
up,
that are
and that's
coming
it.
in for those that can't hear, mobile order apparently is the thing.
Mobile order.
I got this thing, man. I just don't know that I feel like I want to sit in line to wait for a chicken sandwich. I mean, I hear it's really good.
It's a good
but,
chicken sandwich. That's all I gotta say. And I
now,
look like one who's enjoyed a couple myself. You know.
what's going on? I see Omega Racing. I see my boy Omar hanging out there from the DR. What's happening? Let's see. Can get me my Ren forms already. The backer is taking so long.
They're coming on a ship, man.
So when it comes down to the Ren forms, I'm not really sure. You know, this gets super part number specific. So if you want to send us, first off, you can always ask your retailer. They can call and they can contact us at any time and get the real deal on the ETA. But if you want to send us a DM with your part number, we can do our best to try to sort that out for you as well. Have you guys seen the new BRZ yet? I have.
I have too.
Was that final?
I don't know if it was final or concept, but I'm not. I hate to put hate on it, but I'm just not a fan.
So what year is that? Is that 2022?
Yeah, I would assume so.
Let me see here. I want to make sure I'm looking at the right thing here. Yeah, it is. Let's see here. Yeah, I mean, man, it's got a little.
Somebody told me.
It's got a little bit. It's got a little.
One of my friends said it looks like a Tesla and a Honda Civic had a baby.
I get the Honda Civic part. The front part almost looks like it went a little bit more Mazda-y. Kind of feels like an ND Miata a little bit.
You're right. Yeah, I'd say that a little bit.
And I would say the rear is rough for me.
Yeah, the rear.
I just saw it.
Go up. Right, this is right.
Yeah,
So that looks like a Honda Accord to me. Like
I see it, or it don't. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not
crazy about it. It's okay to me.
Somebody just asked about the BRZ or an 86. No, I don't know if Toyota's going to use the same body for. I don't know if the 86 continues or not, but
I really hope they do a different body style.
No, they won't. They won't because it's going to be the same car. But I mean, we're talking about the BRZ, the images I'm looking for. So I don't know if the 86 in 2022 is going to continue or not. It's a good question. I guess we should find out.
Question.
What reference did you use on the bronze finish for the hexaform? What does that mean? What reference did you use? I mean, that That's it.
That's it right there.
That's it. I don't know what you mean by what reference.
I referenced that. That's the bronze. Does that work?
Who is this guy?
I don't know. I'm not aware of that.
Anyhow, let's see. What do you guys ask? If I didn't answer your question, please just ask it again, and
Yes.
I'll try to understand. What do you guys think about the new 400Z?
I know. I already know what you think about it.
Well, I know. Well, so tell me what you think about it before I
do
bias
not
it.
like that front bumper and the grill. Like everything else is nice and curvy, and then they get to the grill and it's like, here's a rectangle for you, bud. Like I got lost right there.
Right. This gets complicated for me because I'm like a real. First off, I like the Z history and the pedigree.
Of course you do.
And I like not just because I have one, but because I've always liked the Z pedigree.
Know,
So let's go. Let's break this up. First off, I love the fact that Nissan, after 11 years, came out with a new platform and didn't kill off what I believe is one of the most iconic car models that they have. All right, so that's number one. So I'm thrilled that they've continued it forward. Two, I thought they did a much better job on the interior than they had in previous cars.
Interior, I haven't really seen. I only got to see like the outside body, so I can't comment on the interior at the moment.
Okay.
But that front grille, I'm just waiting for an aftermarket company to give like a whole refresh on that front bumper.
That's interesting.
And the grill. I think there's, that's my take on it. That rectangle comes out of nowhere, all these nice curvy lines, and then boom, right there in your face.
I differ. I think the front of the car is actually pretty cool. I like the front of the car. It does have a lot of retro resemblance to some of the older Datsuns, and I think that's a really good homage and kind of hat tip to the yesteryear.
I could see what you mean by that.
So I like that. I struggle a little bit with the rear, specifically the rear taillight section. The car has such great lines, and then all of a sudden it gets to this back panel, and I'm like, it's almost like a letdown. Like it just didn't get finished, or like I feel like there could be something way more dramatic there. Now, with that said, when I start to look at it, I do understand kind of where they got the styling cue from. There's a lot of nods to what they've done in the past. Now, I will say to you, if you look at the car from the side, the side profile is such an amazing job at modernizing
side profile.
The older, 240, 260, 280Zs. So I would imagine if you were engulfed in the project,
I concur.
You probably think you nailed it. You killed it out of the park. So I don't know. I think the fact that the car is supposed to come with what is it, the 3-liter twin turbo V6, and I think if they price this car right, if they can afford to price this car right, I think this car could be an absolute monster. I'd imagine there's going to be a 2.0 turbo version and this, the big engine V6 twin turbo car. But I think the car could be a blast, and I bet you the technology supports it. Which Konig 17x85 and 100 flow form wheel will clear the Brembo STI calipers?
What year STI is the main question.
That's a good point. No, it's 5 and 100, so it's gonna have to be.
Oh yeah, you're right.
It's 5 and 100, so it's gonna end up being an early car. You know what? Off the top, the shared fitment sheet. Let's see. Let's see. Countergram. Let's see. We were looking for.
Check hypergram. I feel like we've definitely checked that in a hypergram.
Yeah, definitely. Come through. Hypergram. STI, that's the early one. See, I don't think we did 8, though. I think the 8s are the... STI. No, we don't have any early years STIs that we checked.
We can definitely check it for you.
I say it should be. So I think what's going to end up happening here, just to be totally honest with you, is I think that you're going to run into the issue of, it's going to probably want a 17x9 to really clear some of those breaks. But we can absolutely check. DM us, and then we'll do our best to help you out and answer that question. Mike, where can we contact you with our sponsorship proposal? So Mike is with C Studios or Driving Line, so you may want to contact Driving Line. And if Mike says I should give his email out, I'll put it in the description after the podcast goes live. Any new Konig 4x4 off-road wheels? So we technically don't build off-road wheels in the Konig line, but we do build them through our Mamba off-road line. So MAMBA wheels.com. Check it. What do you guys look for when it comes down to sponsorships? Because I have a YouTube platform as well as Instagram platform was denied twice with no explanation. Really? Luis, can you find out who made that quote? Who gave that question? And if they're still live, can you actually let's bring them in. Let's talk to them. Can we do that? Can we do live guests?
Bring them in
on the fly?
Is it on YouTube or is it on?
This could get dicey.
Oh man, we're gonna run into.
Okay, so just
What do we got?
send me the
The Zoom thing. All right. Well, let's before we even get there, I would like to see if have you found out who it is, Luis? All right. So we're gonna deal with that. I want to deal with that better. People are often asking why they get denied for things, and I believe if we could, can we get to see Scott's full face on YouTube?
Just right there.
No, is it
Scott's full face?
Is that who just made that comment? And can they not see me?
No, we look in frame.
Because I was looking away.
YouTube is literally showing you.
Yeah,
It's showing us both. Like, look at this pretty face. Look.
I don't
Pretty
understand.
face. What happened?
I think he's talking about JR14. Is that right? Okay. Let's look at this. JR14. I feel bad. I don't want to. I'm not. My goal here is not to roast anybody. I don't even know. I have to go look at it now myself and see what would be. So we're going JR14. Are you still with us here on YouTube? If you are, comment. Let's see here.
Hey, I know this guy.
Okay. So I'm checking the channel here. JR14 is who asked it because of camera angle. On YouTube, you're having a problem? On Insta, you have half a face like third week in a row. I know. Luis is in charge of doing cameras, and, we missed it. I'll try to pop in.
Scoot over.
I may be doing you a favor if you can't see my whole face. You know what I mean? Let's see here. GR14. All right. So he's got like 15,000 subs on YouTube. Let's go down. Okay. Cruising through. He's got a couple videos that he gets some decent view count on. But a lot of this stuff seems like it takes time for the view count.
I've seen this guy around definitely some shows.
Yeah, let's see.
He knows a good amount of my buddies. Stock Plus boys, I see you out there.
So, all right, so we got that. Let's look at some engagement. Let's find a good video here. This looks like an average one. Let's look at engagement. So he's got like 25 comments. So, I haven't really looked at this one. You guys have seen how long I've been looking at this proposal. And so, not proposal, but just as YouTube channel without even going to his Instagram or anything like that. So I'm going to go through this and I'm going to say that let's go through pros and cons. Okay. The pros is that he has been doing this for a while. So he is clearly like, this is, not something he's going to lose track of. He's got 3 years down, 4 years back, 6 years. So he's got 6 years of track history. That's a good news. Just quickly looking at some of the stuff, I've seen him before too. And he's been kind of a part of our community for a little bit. So I think he definitely has that ability to kind of stick with it. And I'd have to watch his content to comment on whether I think the content fits what we're doing. It looks pretty informational, so I think that that's good. My guess is, and I've said this many, many times before, is that when people put in for sponsorship, the one thing that we are trying to do is we're comparing them against every other sponsorship proposal that comes in. So if we get, X amount of proposals, and you're kind of being compared to all of them. Mm-hmm. So this may just be a case of it's good, but as you're building your channel and your kind of your following and developing legs on your content, comparatively to what we have come in, it just didn't stack up. Now, with that said, there's always exceptions. I mean, it's not about just view count here. I haven't looked at his Instagram or anything like that. When you come in remember, it's about how you propose yourself. So if you're going to come in and you're going to say, I'm a YouTuber, and your primary function for value in your proposal is your YouTube channel, and you come in way under a lot of other people, then that could be a problem right there. If you come in and you say, hey, I have all these things, and I do these things, and I can bring this value, and there's this package, then that may be a very different situation. So I would just say, I'd have to look at the proposal to give you an honest 100% answer, but it may just have to do, let's see, here's his YouTube channel. I mean, his Instagram. I don't know why it's not.
Didn't load up.
No, it didn't load up at all. Let's see, JR14. There it is. So he's got 3,600 on Instagram. Listen, I think this is a case that, where you're pitching your primary value as YouTube, and then you're coming in, drastically under on some of the other things that we look for when we consider a YouTube channel. Maybe it just needs to be about putting together a package that allows you to bring some more stuff to the table. But I think that's really what it comes down to. I don't see anything crazy wrong with this, and I don't think it's a matter of denying because you don't fit our brand. I think it just may be the fact that you only have so many sponsorship proposals. Maybe this is a case where we have to talk about a partial sponsorship because he's been after it for a little bit. So anyhow, I hope I gave some actual answers there. I don't know. Anyhow, let's see here. Going back to this, when you're submitting a sponsorship proposal, should you shoot for the stars, free wheels, tires, or does it make sense to be more realistic and propose a discount, assuming you're not a big influencer? Yeah, so I agree with that. I mean, I think every company is probably going to be a little bit different with that. Mm-hmm. My gut feeling is don't shoot for the stars. If anything,
start small.
Dig a hole. Yeah. Like, if anything, almost come to the company and say, I want to be sponsored with you, and here's what I can do for you for free. Go to a company that you want to develop a long-term relationship with, buy their product, start taking pictures of your car and send them in to them, because that will get you noticed way faster than actually sending a proposal most of the time. You do that for many years or do that for a year or so, and then you may start to develop a relationship with them. But as far as it goes, if I would say, start small. If you really think that you don't bring a lot of value, then ask for what you feel is an equivalent amount of value. Maybe it's a discount. Maybe it's a discount through one of their dealers. Maybe it's just like, hey, I'm going to buy your set of wheels. Can I have a shirt? And here's what I can do. I don't know. I mean, not every company is going to do that, or have those kind of things. But, I think I would say don't shoot for the stars.
Don't shoot for the stars.
Can y'all hire me? Diego, if you're in New York and you have a marketing background and you're a car guy, then maybe hit us up. If you're not any of those things, then I would say probably not. Do you do tire mending? No, we're a wheel manufacturer. Can I send you a proposal for some LED kits? My guess.
Sell LED kits.
No. I have a feeling that Luis took a question that was intended for Chris from Flyride.
Probably.
I think Chris from Flyride, if I'm looking in the thing, was in the comments and somebody was harassing him. How has COVID affected the company's supply chain? Hyperchrome countergrams and 15 by 825 are on national back order. Curious if COVID played in a big factor. So the answer to this is yes and no. No, it didn't affect us mainstream as far as mainly as far as how many wheels we could produce or whatever. In the beginning of COVID, like end of December, January time, there was a period where we had a little bit of slowdown because of different things. But when we start talking about does it have the reason on your current back order? No. But there are some things that, and here's where the yes part comes in. COVID itself didn't have an impact necessarily directly on us, but there's been global port slowdowns. There has been custom slowdowns. I mean, remember, there's different departments that bring certain things in. Mm-hmm. They've had furloughs and different things like that. There's also been, other companies that have suffered supply shortages, which have caused us to have certain sort of shortages. And then one of the biggest things that happened here in the U.S. is that the government basically gave the stimulus and extra unemployment benefits to people, in addition to the state's benefits, when they were affected by COVID, right? And what happened was, for a long time, there was an influx of expendable cash that went out into the ecosystem here. And when it did that, it caused a very, very busy year. This year was a very busy year for us. Yeah. And when you don't forecast to have that bump, in fact, in some capacity, you're not sure what's going to happen with a something like a pandemic, then, well, so I would say it's more to do with that. Also, 15 by 8 countergrams, they sold like crazy well.
I think we had more back orders before we even got them in.
Yeah. I would say if you're still looking for this wheel and it's 4-lug, well, it is 4-lug, check with Goodwin Racing, because there's a strong probability they have some in stock. Yeah. How about if you're not making content and just like racing and pushing your driving to the next limit and getting new parts? I'm not sure what that question means. My guess is that they were talking about how does that relate to sponsorship. Listen, the answer is it doesn't. It doesn't. If you're just racing and driving and doing your own thing and don't have any value to bring besides the fact that you're racing and you want free product, then that is not a sponsorship. I wouldn't look for one with that. You won't ever get one. But what I would say is I'm with you. Like well, maybe not so much anymore, but I used to be a racer. I loved going to race. I loved doing autocross. I loved doing drag racing, all that stuff. So, and for me, like for the most part, when I wanted something, I bought it. And there's nothing wrong with that. They're like, you don't have to be, whatever. And you can still support a company and believe in a company just because you're not getting something from them. There's nothing wrong with that. But you're right. It is about bringing value. So if you're just out to have a good time and race and do your thing, like, more power to you. But yeah, you're right. Looking for a sponsorship probably isn't the way to go. What is more important, creating content for the manufacturer to use or creating content for your own followers? I think this is an easy one. What do you think?
I'm going to say for the manufacturer.
I'm going to say both. The answer is all of the above.
It actually, yeah, you're right. The answer is definitely all of the above.
It's got to be for all of the above.
You got to create value.
Right. So you have to produce it for yourself, and you have to produce it for the manufacturer. If you do it, if you're smart about how you do your content production, there's a good chance that things will go hand in hand. But very often, the answer to this is going to be all of the above. Can you sponsor my Mercedes CL? My car crew goes to all the big shows. Just finishing up the car. Engine-wise, wish I could do some negative 18 offsets.
Fortunately, we don't make anything with a negative 18 offset. That sounds
especially in 5112.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah, man. Listen, I don't want to roast you. I appreciate your support, and we appreciate everything. And I don't want to make it seem like I genuinely don't do this to hurt anybody. No. I really hope we bring value on this stuff. I would say there was a couple problems with that question. The first problem is that, like, You didn't really say. I mean, going to all the big car shows right now, there really aren't a bunch. Second thing is, I would say that, that's very, very. If you watch the beginning part of our podcast, we kind of talked about this, about how it's not the sole factor I would put a sponsorship proposal in on. And get your car ready, get out there, go do some stuff, but also make sure that you're thinking about how to build a program in today's kind of wants, right? Can I buy Konig wheels in Indonesia? Yes. Go to our dealer locator on our website, konigwheels.com, and click on the dealers tab, and click on the tab that says outside the U.S. There is an Indonesia dealer. Do any of you guys ride motorcycles? I don't. I think
I'd kill myself on one.
Yeah, I think I've always felt
just floored, and then I might end up in a tree. So I'd rather stay away from them.
like
That's
a
just
scene in that movie Mr. Deeds where he drives down with the Corvette.
and it just drives right into the wall.
So I've always felt a little bit too large to be on a motorcycle. I've also
Like
had
a Harley maybe, but I like cars more personally.
I've had a few friends that have passed away on motorcycles.
Yep.
So I've had a healthy fear of it. My brother, this is a good story. So my brother, I don't know that he'll appreciate me telling you, but my brother bought a bike a few years ago. It was a ZX6R, and he bought it and he was determined to ride. And he's built very similar to me, but thinner. Now he's thinner, but I mean he was thinner. And he decided that he was going to keep the bike at my house and he was going to learn to ride in the parking lot of the school across the street from my house. So he'd come over a few times a day and he'd ride in the empty parking lot and stuff like that. And it just wasn't really progressing at a rate that would make you feel comfortable. So my friend Chris actually came over, who rides quite a bit and very, very good. And he showed him some stuff. And my brother did get in the hat. He was leaning the bike and he was starting to make some turns and doing some decent parking lot riding. Anyhow, he dropped the bike once. I mean, almost like he was standing still. I mean, he was standing there and then the bike just kind of fell over. So then he broke a stay and I replaced the stay. And then I was out actually in my backyard cutting my lawn.
Yeah.
And he decided he was going to come over and practice. So he took the bike across the street. I see him, whatever. And over the top of my fence, I can actually see the rear wheel of the bike come up.
So he just slammed on those brakes.
and then it just disappears from. So I jump up and I see him laying on the ground and the bike's on top of him. So I run across the street and I'm like, "Oh my God, you're right." And he's like, "Get this thing off of me." And he's pinned between the curb and the bike. So I lift the bike off of him. And I'm like, "What are you doing?" And he's like,
"What are
"Well,"
you doing?"
He's like, "Okay, I felt like I was coming too close to the curb." So he locked him up, and he did an endo unnecessarily.
He did an endo, all right.
And anyhow, that was the end of my brother riding a bike. I think that all these lessons combined have showed me that I do not belong on a bike, but I love them.
11th gen Civic or 2022 GT STI. Sorry.
I mean, for me, it's not. It's I take the STI.
Me too, but I'm a Euro guy. These.
But you got to pick one. Doubt.
I said I'd take an STI.
All right. I didn't realize.
I said that's the first where I started.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Maybe if you listen to me once in a while.
You don't love me. You don't. I say the STI. I think the new 11th gen is a good looking car. I think they did a good job getting it there. It has a feel of a lot of different ways. I feel a little bit like they kept true to their roots in Honda. I felt a little bit of Camry-ness coming in there. And I also felt a little bit of like small BMW-ish-ness.
I can see that.
Like 1 Series, 2 Series kind of thing. But, the truth is, I think I still take the STI, unless the 11th Gen Type R ends up being there or something. I want to order some Amp 20 by 11 ET50, but they're out of stock. I would say
I'd recommend to back order it so that you're the first one to be on the list
if we
when
didn't
they do come in.
If we didn't kill that part number, right?
Did we kill it?
I don't know. I'm gonna check while
I
we're
don't think so.
while we're going through some other questions. Here,
What
bring
bolt
up
pattern?
some. It's only probably gonna be 5.5. So you take the next question here, and let me go check.
Would be nice to have more Audi V-Dub wheels, 18 to 20 inches. I'm working on it. I'm working on it, guys.
But there's plenty. We
There,
have
there,
plenty of
there are
offer.
plenty of wheels. Pretty much every wheel comes in a 5x112. But we're working on to getting more specs, probably getting more offsets. You know, I got to see how well I talk to Scott. You know, I got to be nice to Scott.
Yeah, but I mean, we have a lot of fitment in 5112.
Yeah,
So it's just a matter of, you know, I mean, maybe not in 20, but definitely in 18 and 19 inches. So I guess like it goes back to what Dowd originally said, which is that it depends on what, you know, what exactly you're looking for as far as,
If you're
you know, the
looking
fitment.
for a 20x10 with a 10 offset, it's not going to happen. It's just it doesn't fit.
Yeah. But yeah, all right. We can tell us what car too. I think that's a super
That's
important,
definitely more, you know.
super important piece. So here's my question to the person that said that they didn't have any available. We actually do have a couple pieces. If you were looking for a 20x11 ampliform at a 50 for the rear of the car, we actually have a set left. So, you know, get on it. I doubt somebody was using it all the way around, unless it was a Mustang. Maybe it's possible. All right, let's see. Going back. Torn between 15.8 and 15.9 countergraphs for my build, but no idea if I would rub on lock to lock. Well, we also don't have an idea because you didn't tell us what kind of car you have. So, you know.
Let us know what car, and then we can let
Right.
you know how we feel on it.
Hello from Russia.
Mother Russia.
Hello, Ruskis.
Ruskos.
I don't even know if that's the right term. I hope I didn't offend you.
I didn't
Yeah.
mean to offend.
Hello,
I just
Russia.
wanted to say hello.
Do you take styling cues from newer cars to help design new wheels? What do you find some of your wheels only fit? Do you find that some of your wheels only fit the appearance of certain era cars?
Like
That's
the,
it.
like the rewind kind of fits, you know, your more older style cars.
Yeah, I think I understand what they're saying. They're kind of saying like, do we take design cues from newer cars? I mean, maybe we take some feel. Like, you know, when you look at cars, you may get a more flowy sense. So I guess there's that. You know, we do have a very particular wheel style, and we've done a lot of different wheels over the years. You know, and we try to stay in our lane a little bit with you know, where our designs come from and what they look like. So, you know, I think that there's that. But you know, as far as, you know, do we look to new car designs? Not really. We consider what the cars look like, and I personally think that some wheels, personally, like you've said, I feel that could kind of get niched into very specific vehicles or era vehicles. But I also think that there's plenty of newer vehicles that our stuff holds up perfectly on. Hey guys, I just started my YouTube channel. I got a 2012 Chevy Cruze 1.4 turbo, wanting to know what's the best thing to do with it. I would say, I don't know.
You kind of have to figure out what direction you want to take it in. Do you want to take it in just style? Do you want to take it in more speed? Do you want to do autocross? You really have to kind of pinpoint where you want to start.
Yeah, what you use.
Like, I can't tell you what to do. Like, oh, yeah, you want to do wheels first, of course. Then you want... But it's not what you want. That's what I want.
Yeah.
You really have to take into consideration what do you want to do with the car. Do you want it to only be style, stance? Do you want it to be performance-based? That's where you kind of have to start.
Yeah, I agree. I think Doubt nailed it. Where in the respect of building a car...
Aw, thanks.
With respect to building a car, I think that you really have to build it for yourself, you know, and if you like performance, go with performance. I'd be the guy that, you know, I think with every single car I get, I always start the same way, and it's always wheels and tires, suspension, and then I go straight for power. So if you have a turbo engine and there's offering, you know, I don't inherently know too much about the Chevy Cruze you know, turbo community in that 1.4, but if there's tuning options that are safe, reliable, and work for you, I would say, you know, my direction has always been wheels, tires, suspension, and then I go right for power. So, that's
I think that's where I started too. Was coils and wheels first. Besides like your intake, but
yeah. Hey, want to make some more tandems? Need them from my Miata? Sure.
They're on the way.
Are there multiple piece wheels available? Yes, just not from Konig.
You could order multiple pieces.
Yeah, they're called wheels.
Yeah.
What model wheel is in the black one mounted? Is the black one mounted on the wall? This one? Or no, wait. That's right. He's pushing to the tandem. That is the Konig lockout.
And then you have the countergram. Or
no,
that's the hypergram.
That's the hypergram and the
metallic.
I love it. Scott does social media audits on live. I don't. Yeah, I know. Maybe that's gonna be the thing, right? Oh man, I didn't. Well, no, I know. Just me next. I don't know who wrote that. Anyhow, we've been seeing the off-road market growing, overtaking the passenger market. Thoughts? Thoughts. So I would say that yes, the off-road market is growing. But I would say that it has been for a long time.
It's always been big with the truck guys.
Yeah,
the off-road guys.
I would venture to say that the off-road market over the past 6-7 years really has, maybe even more than that, has gone exponentially further over the car line, passenger cars, for aftermarket kind of things. But as far, I think that's a good thing. I think if people are into that type of thing, I think that that's what they should do, because at the end of the day, as long as people are car enthusiasts, I don't really care what they drive. I think it's great. You know what I mean?
Whatever you're into, that's really what it comes down
and
to.
off-roading, especially if you're going to build an off-road rig, it is a lot of fun. I will say that. I don't proclaim to be an expert, but I really do. I think they're awesome. The partial sponsorships are good, but never seem to be able to get past that point. I'm sponsored by 6-Speed and Mishimoto, but level 1 gets you a little discount and some swag bag. So I listen. All right. So here's what I would say. And I'm going to be completely blunt with this answer. If that is where you're always getting stalled, there's a reason for it. And most likely that reason is going to be that you're not providing enough value in the package that you're bringing. So I would say use those partial sponsorships that you have, continue to build your vehicle, continue to develop a value-added package, and if you do that, I think your proposals will start getting accepted by more companies, and when you're starting to get more partials and start building relationships, I think that they'll eventually spread into kind of more of what you're looking for. To elaborate on my previous question, content for the manufacturers as follows. Is there any engagement increase when you provide your sponsor with original content versus having them share your content from your page? Shout out to David Arbray. He is a Grid Life driver, had a great season, and is sponsored by us. Who is that? David O'Tuber. No, not David. Who wrote this question? Do you know? Oh, you're saying you wrote note shout out. Oh, I thought he shouted out. I thought he was
shouting out yourself.
All right. First off, David, now I'm going to give you the proper shout out because now I know where we're going with this question. I thought somebody else was shouting you out. Listen, we appreciate all the Grid Life people, and we're super happy that we're able to be a small part of that program. And all those Grid Life drivers out there, you are. It's exactly where I wish I could be every event.
Yeah.
Because I just love racing. So that's great. And congratulations on the season. Seriously. Let's elaborate on your question. I would say that every company's going to have their own metrics to this. I think if you can provide manufacturer specific content that's unique to them, and you can do it in a way that's useful for them, I really do think that holds way more value. But I will tell you, just to be totally candid, that knowing so many people in this industry, there are some marketing people that just really don't have any interest in taking advantage of it. Even though I believe it holds more value, I think that there's a lot of companies out there that really don't have any way or desire to take advantage of it. So While I do think the answer is generally yes, I think there's more value in bringing content, that's unique to that manufacturer. I do think you need to have a conversation with them before you do it, so you don't waste your own time, and make sure that it's something that they're going to continue to use, and it's something that would really hold value for them. Do you guys plan on attending any events in 2021? Maybe Grid Life Midwest Festival? Do you guys love to meet you all? Scott Hollingsworth, man. What is going on, Scott? Yeah, Scott's been with us for a few years, and he's a cool guy, and he's been driving on our stuff for a while, and he's a Grid Life driver, and the answer is I hope so. I mean,
you really have to see what's going on with
2021 is such a question mark. I mean, even today, we're in New York City. We're in New York. New York City School District just temporarily went back to remote learning. So, with that said, it just depends like how quickly this whole COVID thing gets under wraps. It's been wild. It's been a whole year I haven't been on an airplane.
Wild.
With the Konig wheels available now, what would you recommend for a 2015 Subaru STI for track use? I think if it was me and I was going to be on track, I think you have a lot of options, right? Yeah. I would say anything, we make a lot of flow form wheels in 18.5 ET35, and I think that that's going to be a good look for the track. Personally, I'm trying to think what would be like my go-to pick. I think I'd probably end up running a hexaform.
I was gonna say hypergram.
Okay, so let me tell you. Keep that note. I'll tell you why I picked hexaform, and then you can elaborate why you picked hypergram. So hexaform is going to be right in the same. It's going to be not too far off in weight from the hypergram. It has a good amount of caliper clearance, so you don't have to worry about anything like that. It's 6 spokes, and when you're going to be running on the track and have all that brake dust and all that pad dust, having an easy to clean wheel design is really
key.
Oh, it's so much easier. And I also think that it's a good look. I really like the wheel. I think it really looks good. It's clean. It's timeless. It's classic, and it does come in a matte black and a matte bronze. So I think when you do that, you really get that whole like ability to pick 2 matte finishes that would both not really get too disgusting on the track.
I really don't have a reason. I was gonna say the hypergram's probably one of our lightest wheels. I'd say, and that's
I just
close
don't.
to it.
I don't remember an 18.5 and ET35 if that, because remember that everybody says, well, what's the lightest wheel you make? But the truth is,
I always say
it depends.
Yeah, it really depends on the specs, but
right. So I don't know that offhand.
I feel like the hypergram's just a solid pick for the track.
Can you check your database for whatever Gooner Racing is out of stock? So somebody gave us it looks like an order number. We don't use the retailer's order numbers in our system. They give us an internal PO. So the number you gave me, unfortunately, doesn't help at all. DM us with where you purchased them from, your purchase date, and
what's the specs
and what the part numbers were that you ordered, and we could try to track it down. If not, we can at least come back to you and tell you we think it's like this. Have them contact us.
You guys do sponsorships. We do sponsorships. That's what this whole video is about.
Someone, yeah, we do sponsorships. I mean, I don't know.
You gotta watch the video again.
Let's see. Hey, Scotty, what's going on? Hunter. What's up, Hunter? Hunter from S3 Magazine in the house. Any other questions? Throw them in now because we are going to get out of here momentarily. Alex's laptop sounds like it's about to take off and go into space. So,
it does. It really does.
so we must be heating that baby up. Literally just filmed me a new opening. Filmed me opening the first box of a sexy black
machine
lip countergram. So grateful and excited. Chris, thanks so much, man. We really appreciate it. Chris has been one of the new relationships we developed through this podcast because we put out one of those things where we did a sponsorship proposal search looking for some people, and we did some critiques of them, and he turned in a bang-up one. So, guys, Tune into the podcast. This is the reason why you need the notification bell, thumbs up, all that good stuff.
Thumbs up, like, subscribe, do it all.
What wheels would you guys like on a 2018 Titan?
That would go into our Mamba line.
Yeah. I like the new M27.
I'm with Scott on that one.
I think the new M27 is pretty dope. My first set of wheels in 03 were Konig, and today I'm running 2 of your Flowform wheels on my 2 cars. Thanks. Hey, listen.
Yeah, that's awesome, man.
Man, 17,
Brand loyalty.
17 years.
That is brand loyalty right there.
17 years. You know, funny enough, the first set of wheels that I had on my car were Konigs as well. Totally unrelated to, like, knowing that I was ever going to work here.
Mine were OZ Racing. 17 by 8 all around.
Nobody cares, Doubt.
I'm saying, compared to what I run now,
Yeah.
I had, like, beefy tires on there, and I thought I was, like, a race car driver.
And what year was this?
2011.
2011?
Yeah.
You say your first set of
That
wheels?
was my first set of wheels on the GTI.
Just when I feel like I'm not so old, there's that. So, yeah, let's see. 98, I got my first set of Konigs. I had Konig caffeines. You know.
You don't want to hear what my plans were for my first car. I wanted to put Dayton's on there.
So now we have a question, an in-house question by Luis. He said, "Is Lewis the best? Is Lewis the best?
That is all the time we have today, folks. Thank you.
Or the best?" Alex is a close second. So
you know what? I'm gonna go with my man Alex over here. I'm gonna go with my man Alex because his computer's about to blow up, so I'm gonna give him the credit over here.
anyhow,
On that note,
if there's no more questions, I think we're gonna get out of here.
Yeah.
Guys, thanks so much for tuning in to another episode of the Wheel Wednesday thing. We will be back here next Wednesday, 3 p.m. Eastern. We will do our best to make sure we get this camera
this whole thing
situation
kind of
for those that are on
fixed and
Instagram and
situated.
Facebook sorted out. Also, make sure you tune in this Friday to YouTube. We will have another piece of content up. And last week, we actually put up a piece of content we'd love for you to go check out. And that was on... I still can't remember. We filmed enough of these out of order. I don't remember. What was it? It was 5 points about something. I don't know. All right, check it out.
We'll figure it out.
What? 5 mistakes that you probably made when you installed your wheels. That's up on YouTube right now. And I promise you, just because I can't remember, it doesn't mean I don't think it's good. I think it's good. But Alex is doing some funny edits, and they're kind of have some humor in it. So it'd be cool to see what you think, and leave a comment in there and let us know kind of how you feel about it. Let's see. This Friday we'll have something coming out. Next Wednesday, tune in because we're going to have another guest, and we promise we'll do it better than we did.
We'll have it more situated to the next Wednesday.
It's going to get better and better. That's the great thing about these lives. Somebody said I still have the Traffics from 2001. Thanks again for your support. Super appreciate it. That's awesome. Take a picture of the Traffics. I want to see them. Anyhow, that's all for this week. We will catch you back here next Wednesday, 3 p.m. Eastern. Take care of yourself. Have a good week. Peace out.
Laters.